Well, I mean, think about the hundreds of microaggressions that you experience in your daily life because of how hard it is to basically get on with your business because you're needing to prove who you are, or prove something about yourself, and then multiply that out across the entire population of a country, and then imagine it being 10 times worse for people who are less digitally included than you or I might be. That just gives you a sense of the scope of the problem. So it's easy to key in on things like, oh, there's so much fraud, and if we had verifiable credentials, we could eliminate the fraud. But that frankly, that speaks to people who already have quite a lot, and we're just looking for efficiencies there. I like to reference there's a McKinsey study, I think it was from 2019, that looked at a number of different economies and found that a fully integrated digital identity scheme could unlock GDP growth of between 6 and 13% across this range of nations. And just think what that would mean. Like, even if we weren't currently living through hyperinflation and currency crises and things like that, that speaks to how much potential is kept at bay by how egregious these systems are today. And so I think every country, every nation that is trying to do the best by its citizens would look at A, enabling that growth, and B, frankly, just doing away with the indignity of the way we have to do these things today. So it's important to do it carefully. It's important to do it inclusively. And I think it can't be left entirely to the private sector, because while that is where innovation comes from, and I certainly think it would be a mistake to exclude private sector from these transactions, the incentives are not always right there. Look at our news media infrastructure and our social communication infrastructure is mostly privatized there, and that's led to all kinds of outcomes that we didn't expect. And so we don't want that for our identity infrastructure, and that's especially important in a time where it's getting increasingly harder and harder to tell what's authentic and what isn't. So for all those reasons, I think it's absolutely critical that governments take a forward-looking approach to this and recognize that, while they may think they have a financial services, like a financial crime crisis, or they think they have an unemployment crisis, all this kind of things, underpinning a lot of that is difficulties telling the good guys from the bad guys, proving that you're eligible for a loan, proving that you've got the right training to go get a job, and so on and so forth. And that potential for growth, I think, is why this should be a top priority across the whole world. And the EU is, as I said, really leading the charge there. And it's something I think to be admired.